As you age, the three doors to inner peace. When I was young, I believed happiness came from having more. More opportunities, more people around me, more things to prove my worth. But one day, I realized, peace comes not from what we hold on to, but from what we have the courage to let go of. As we grow older, we begin to see that not everything lost is a loss. Some things leave our lives simply to make room for the silence we once forgot. We no longer crave to win every argument or prove every point. We just want a quiet morning, a warm cup of tea, and a peaceful heart. And that's when we learn, letting go is also a form of maturity. Letting go of regrets so we can see we once lived wholeheartedly. Letting go of relationships that weigh on the heart. And letting go of anger, to forgive others, and to forgive ourselves. Peace isn't something someone else can bring to you. It's a gift you give yourself. When you finally stop, breathe deeply, and whisper to your heart, I don't need anything more. I just need peace. The first door, letting go of what cannot be changed. There was a time when I lived surrounded by the words, if only. If only I had spoken differently. If only I hadn't stayed silent then. If only I'd been brave enough to choose another path. Those if onlys returned again and again, quiet, relentless, keeping me awake through many long nights. I think we've all been there, wishing we could go back, say one more thing, do one more thing. But the older I get, the more I understand. Some things in life are not meant to be fixed, but to be accepted. Life has no rewind button, and no one demands perfection from us. We just need to be gentle enough to say, I did the best I could at that time. It took me years to realize that regret often isn't about what happened. It's about not forgiving ourselves. We lock ourselves in invisible prisons of memory, forgetting that no one grows while staring only backward. Regret is the reflex of the heart, but forgiveness is the choice of the soul. Letting go doesn't mean forgetting. It means no longer allowing the past to control the present. It's when you can look at an old wound and no longer feel pain. Only gratitude for what it taught you about standing back up. Every mistake, large or small, is part of your growth, not your punishment. One quiet morning, I sat on my porch with a cup of tea and asked myself, if I could go back, would I do it differently? I smiled. Probably not. Because back then, I was simply me. Clumsy, impulsive, but sincere. And maybe those imperfect moments made me who I am now. Someone who pauses, listens, and cherishes peace more than anything else. Letting go of what cannot be changed is really a lesson in courage. The courage to admit we were once wrong. The courage to smile at old wounds. And the courage to move forward without the burdens time cannot heal. When we finally put down the luggage of the past, our shoulders feel lighter. And only then can we open our hearts to the good things still waiting ahead. The second door, releasing bonds that no longer nourish the soul. Some people were once a beautiful part of our lives. We thought they would stay forever, walking beside us through every season. But somehow, without warning, things changed. We still talk, still see each other. Yet between us lies a quiet distance. Not everyone who leaves hurts us. Sometimes, it's those who stay that make us feel most alone. It took me a long time to accept that not every relationship needs to be kept. Some people's roles in our lives end at a certain chapter. The story fades, not from anger, but because we've both changed. Just as autumn quietly replaces summer. I once tried hard to keep some people close. Through patience, effort, even self-sacrifice. But I learned that affection can't be sustained by kindness alone. And attachment cannot survive on habit. If a bond is reduced to silence and obligation, sooner or later it becomes just a shadow of what it once was. Letting someone go doesn't mean resentment. Sometimes, it's the highest form of respect. Respect for the past that was once beautiful. And for the present, where each person deserves their own peace. I've learned to walk away quietly, without blame. Whispering instead, thank you for walking with me for a while. Now it's time for us to keep going on our own. On quiet afternoons, I sometimes think about those who once mattered. Strangely, instead of sadness, I feel gratitude. Grateful for the laughter, for the pain that taught me self-love, and for their departure, which made space for gentler, new beginnings. We all need to reevaluate the connections around us. Not everyone who arrives first will stay long. And not everyone who leaves truly takes something away. When we step back from relationships that drain us, life becomes brighter, and our hearts feel lighter. Because peace isn't measured by how many people surround you, but by whether you can sit alone and still feel warm. Perhaps that's what the second door has taught me. To leave when my heart is tired, and to stay only when my heart is at peace. The third door, letting go of anger and learning to forgive. I used to think forgiveness was something you gave to others, a way to move past their mistakes even when your heart still ached. But after many wounds, I realized forgiveness is a gift you give yourself. Some angers don't burn fiercely, they linger softly, like a coal that still glows under the ashes. Warm for a moment, but scorching if you touch it. We think we've forgotten. Yet one small memory can open the old wound again. I once carried such scars, believing that holding on would protect me. But the truth is, anger never makes us stronger. It only hardens the soul. We close ourselves off, distrust love, and forget that peace cannot coexist with resentment. Forgiveness isn't forgetting, it's no longer needing to remember. It's when you can mention the past and your heart no longer tightens. Forgiveness doesn't excuse what was wrong. It simply says, I've endured enough, and I deserve peace. I once sat for a long time just to whisper to myself, that chapter is over, and I don't want to carry it anymore. And somehow, my heart felt a little lighter. Then a few days later, lighter still. Forgiveness, I learned, is a slow journey. But with every step, you become freer. Sometimes, the hardest person to forgive is yourself. For moments of weakness, harsh words, or wrong choices, we punish ourselves as if perfection were required, forgetting that every heart carries unseen scars. Now, I choose to live differently. No more resentment, no more unspoken words. If something must be said, I say it with kindness. If not, I stay silent. But it's a peaceful silence, not an angry one. In the end, forgiveness doesn't change the past. It changes the future. When we release the anger in our hearts, the air feels softer, the sunlight gentler, and the soul calm once more. The third door opens quietly, no tears, no noise. Just one deep breath and a faint smile. And we realize peace was never far away. It was simply waiting for us to open our hearts. Epilogue, the journey through 3 doors of peace. In the end, I've learned that peace doesn't come from running fast away from the past. It comes in the moment you stop, take a deep breath, and whisper to yourself, it's over now. Those 3 doors, regret, people, and resentment, seem to close. Yet when opened, they reveal the light of relief. When we set down what can't be fixed, step away from relationships that no longer warm us, and release the anger that marked our hearts, we find that life remains quietly beautiful. Maybe we're no longer young, no longer chasing bright dreams, but we hold what youth never had: understanding, calmness, and a heart that knows enough. I believe each of us will find our own place of rest someday. A corner of silence where there are no more whys. Only one simple truth, because I chose peace. If you're hearing this now, I hope you find your own slow afternoon, your deep breath, and a space within that feels light again. Because sometimes, slowing down is how we finally return to ourselves. Closing words, to the one who's still listening. Thank you for staying with me until the end of this journey. If these words made your heart a little lighter, perhaps we're walking the same path, toward peace within. I don't know where you are or what you're going through, but I hope that whenever the world feels too loud, you can come back here. where stories are told slowly, where we learn to listen to our own hearts, and to treat life a little more gently. If this message brought you a moment of calm, leave a small sign, a like, a share, so that it might reach someone else who also needs a quiet minute, just like you. Until we meet again in another quiet afternoon, where together we'll learn once more how to live slowly,